The Shadows of Salem, Stephanie Johnson's Descent into Darkness, a Days of Our Lives storyline analysis. Oh, Salem. Just when you think the canvas has thrown every twist, betrayal, and bullet at its residents, the writers remind us why Days of Our Lives remains the beating heart of daytime drama. For those of us who followed this town through decades of Kyriakis schemes, Horton family heartaches, and DiMera machinations, Stephanie Johnson's current spiral feels like classic soap opera tragedy wrapped in very modern trauma. Viewers who've watched her journey know this isn't just another troubled character does something reckless arc. This is layered, painful, and potentially game-changing for multiple families in Salem. Let's break it all down: the PTSD, the gun, the baby bombshell with Alex and Joy Wesley, and the looming arrest that could send Stephanie behind bars. It all traces back to that harrowing kidnapping ordeal. Remember how it unfolded? Stephanie, already a strong, independent woman carving her path in PR and family life, was ripped away from everything she knew. Held captive, tormented by Owen Kent, those scenes still send chills down the spine of longtime fans. The psychological damage wasn't resolved with a quick therapy session or a heartfelt talk with her parents, Steve and Kayla. No, this trauma burrowed deep. In the months since her rescue, we've seen Stephanie wrestle with nightmares that jolt her awake in cold sweats, flashbacks that hit at the worst possible moments, and a hypervigilance that makes everyday life in Salem feel like walking through a minefield. Experienced Days watchers recognize the authenticity here. Post-traumatic stress disorder doesn't follow a neat narrative timeline. One moment Stephanie might be laughing with friends at the Brady pub, the next she's frozen, hearing Owen's voice in her head, feeling phantom restraints on her wrists. The show has done a commendable job portraying her isolation. She pulls away from loved ones even as they try to help. Steve Johnson, ever the protective father, senses something is terribly wrong but can't quite reach her. Kayla, with her medical expertise, pushes for professional help, but Stephanie resists, insisting she can handle it. That stubbornness is pure Johnson family DNA, but in this case, it's pushing her closer to the edge. Enter the gun. In a town as dangerous as Salem, where mob families, serial killers, and corporate warfare are Tuesday afternoon occurrences, Stephanie's decision to arm herself for self-defense makes a twisted kind of sense. But here's where the drama intensifies. She doesn't follow proper safety protocols. We've seen her handling the weapon with trembling hands, storing it improperly, loading it in moments of panic without thinking clearly. This isn't a seasoned cop like Rafe Hernandez, or a trained operative like her dad. This is a woman haunted by memories, operating on raw fear and fractured instincts. The gun becomes both security blanket and ticking time bomb. Foreshadowing has been heavy, lingering shots of her staring at the weapon late at night, practicing draws in front of a mirror while her reflection looks back with haunted eyes. Viewers can feel the inevitable catastrophe building, but trauma rarely exists in a vacuum on Days of Our Lives. Just as Stephanie tries to rebuild, life in Salem throws her another devastating curveball: Alex Kyriakis and the baby situation with Joy Wesley. Kelsey Kyriakis. That name alone carries weight now. Alex, the man Stephanie has loved and fought for through so many cycles, suddenly entangled in paternity drama that threatens to shatter whatever stability they've clawed back. The revelation that Alex fathered a child with Joy, beautiful, scheming Joy Wesley, lands like a grenade. Baby Kelsey becomes the living symbol of everything Stephanie fears: abandonment, betrayal, the sense that she can never truly be safe or first in anyone's heart. We've watched the scenes play out with heartbreaking detail. Stephanie, trying to be the bigger person, visiting the baby, forcing smiles while her insides crumble. Alex torn between his feelings for Stephanie and his responsibilities as a father. Joy, of course, playing the situation for all it's worth, every coy glance, every innocent suggestion that she and Alex need to co-parent closely. The Kyriakis mansion has never felt more like a pressure cooker. Victor's legacy looms large over all of them. That ruthless family name demanding strength, loyalty, and sometimes cold pragmatism. Stephanie, an outsider by blood but deeply embedded by love and history, feels the walls closing in. This convergence of traumas is what makes the storyline so potent. The PTSD from Owen Kent isn't just background noise anymore. It's actively colliding with the present-day heartbreak. Imagine the scenes we haven't seen yet, but can vividly picture Stephanie alone in her apartment, the gun on the table, scrolling through photos of Alex with Kelsey on social media. Her breathing grows shallow. Owen's voice whispers in her ear again, "You'll never escape." She picks up the weapon, checks the chamber, sets it down, then picks it up again. The writers are masters at these slow burn psychological descent. Think back to some of the great meltdowns in Day's history: Marlena's possession, Sammy's many schemes, EJ's complicated villainy. Stephanie's arc has that same operatic potential. Now, the prediction that has fans buzzing: Stephanie will make a tragic mistake and shoot someone. The who and why remain deliciously uncertain, but the setup is there. Could it be Joy in a confrontation that spirals out of control? A perceived threat to the baby that triggers Stephanie's protective and distorted instincts? Or perhaps someone entirely unexpected, an intruder who reminds her too much of her kidnapper, or even a misguided attempt to protect Alex that goes horribly wrong? Salem is full of candidates. The important part is the aftermath. An arrest seems almost inevitable given how the show has framed her instability and the gun's presence. We're talking police involvement, probably Ray for Jada taking her into custody, handcuffs clicking while Stephanie sits in stunned silence, the weight of what she's done crashing down. The imprisonment storyline could be rich with drama. Picture Stephanie in a holding cell, finally confronting the full extent of her mental health crisis. Visits from Steve and Kayla, fraught with guilt and love. Alex's devastation, torn between anger and desperate attempts to help. Legal battles involving perhaps Justin Kyriakis as her attorney, highlighting the family's influence and divisions. The show could explore courtroom scenes worthy of classic Days, witness testimonies, psychiatric evaluations, public scrutiny on the Kyriakis name. And through it all, the lingering question: was it truly an accident, or did something darker snap inside Stephanie that night? Expanding on this, let's consider how this affects the wider canvas. The Kyriakis empire is already fractured. Xander and Sarah's own family struggles, Lisa's schemes, the constant power plays, adding Stephanie's legal troubles, throws everything into chaos. Could this be the catalyst for bigger revelations about baby Kelsey's paternity, or Joy's true motives? Might it force Alex to choose once and for all? And what about Stephanie's career? Her PR firm, her independence, these could crumble as the scandal engulfs her. Longtime viewers will draw parallels to other iconic arcs: Jennifer's struggles, Hope's battles with Franco, even Abigail's mental health journeys. Days excels at showing how trauma echoes across generations. Dramatically, the build-up has been masterful. We've had quiet moments of Stephanie staring out windows, rain streaking the glass like tears, while somber music swells. Flashbacks intercut with present-day action, Owen's face morphing into Alex's in her nightmares. The gun-cleaning scenes where her hands shake so badly she nearly drops it. Arguments with Alex that escalate from heated words to slammed doors, leaving her alone with her thoughts and that loaded weapon. The baby's cries in the background during tense visits, symbolizing everything she stands to lose. These are the details that make Days of Our Lives addictive, the emotional layering, the way personal demons intersect with family feuds. As someone who's followed the show for years, I believe this story will unfold with maximum dramatic impact. The writers have been planting seeds for months. Mental health arcs on soaps have evolved, and this one feels grounded, yet heightened for the genre. Stephanie won't just get arrested and fade away. Expect twists. Perhaps the shooting victim survives and forgives, or blackmails, a surprise witness who alters the narrative, or a mental health facility stint instead of, or before, prison. Redemption is always possible in Salem. Look at how many characters have returned from the brink. But first comes the fall. The public humiliation, the tabloid headlines screaming Kyriakis family tragedy, the strained family dinners where no one quite knows what to say. Let's dive deeper into potential scenarios. Suppose the shooting happens during a stormy night at the Kyriakis mansion. Stephanie arrives unannounced, intending to talk to Alex about their future, only to find Joy there with the baby. Words are exchanged. Tensions rise. A noise outside, maybe a real threat, maybe paranoia triggers her. She pulls the gun. A struggle. A shot rings out. The screen fades to black on her horrified face as someone collapses. The next episode opens with sirens, blue lights flashing across the mansion's grand facade. Stephanie in handcuffs repeating it was an accident as officers read her rights. Alex watching in disbelief. Joy cradling the baby, eyes calculating her next move. From there, the story branches into legal and emotional territory. Bail hearings where the judge cites her mental state as a flight risk. Prison visits where Steve sneaks in contraband hope in the form of family updates. Group therapy sessions behind bars that force Stephanie to finally unpack the Owen Kent trauma. Romantic tension as Alex visits, their hands pressed against the glass divider. Meanwhile, outside, schemes unfold. Perhaps Vivian or another Kyriakis rival tries to exploit the scandal. The baby Kelsey becomes a pawn in custody battles amplified by the chaos. The psychological realism could be groundbreaking for the show. Hallucinations where Stephanie sees Owen in her cell. Panic attacks during lockdowns. Moments of clarity where she writes letters to Alex and her parents, pouring out the fear that's consumed her. Reconciliation scenes that feel earned because the writers have taken the time to show the depth of her pain. And always, that classic day's hope, perhaps a new therapist who actually helps, or a medical discovery linking her symptoms to something treatable. Fans are already speculating wildly on social media. Some think the victim will be a minor character, allowing focus on Stephanie's recovery. Others predict a major player gets shot, forcing cross-family alliances. Will this lead to a Stephanie in prison arc reminiscent of classic wrongful conviction stories? Or a shorter, more intense stint that resolves within months but leaves lasting scars? Either way, it revitalizes Stephanie as a central character. No longer just the daughter of Steve and Kayla or Alex's love interest, she becomes a woman fighting her demons on center stage. Expanding further, consider the ripple effects on mental health representation. Days of Our Lives has a long history of tackling heavy topics: rape, addiction, dissociative identity disorder. Stephanie's PTSD and the consequences feel timely. It opens doors for conversations with other characters who've suffered: Paul Narita's own struggles, Sonny's resilience, even Brady's battles with substances. Support groups in Salem could form, highlighting community amid crisis. The romantic angle remains electric. Alex Kyriakis, with his complicated Kyriakis blood and redeemed heart, represents both love and loss for Stephanie. Their history, passion, breakups, reunions makes this latest test monumental. Will he stand by her through the trial? Or will fatherhood pull him toward joy permanently? The triangle has classic soap proportions: the stable if troubled partner versus the mother of his child. Joy Wesley brings her own mystery, her background, her ambitions. Is she genuinely concerned for Kelsey, or using the baby for leverage? The show could reveal layers there, perhaps tying her into larger corporate intrigue at Titan. Technically, the production elements will shine. Expect moody lighting in Stephanie's scenes, close-ups on her eyes during breakdowns, powerful monologues delivered by the talented actress. Sound design amplifying heartbeats during panic moments. The prison sets cold, echoing, contrasting the warmth of the Johnson home or opulence of the Kyriakis estate. Costume choices reflecting her unraveling: disheveled hair, clothes thrown on in haste, eventually the stark prison uniform. As we speculate on the unfolding, one thing is certain: this won't resolve quickly. Soap operas thrive on long-term consequences. Stephanie's arrest could span months of episodes, allowing character growth, shocking reveals, and crossovers with other plots like whatever's happening with the DiMeras or the latest Brady family crisis. It might even culminate in a sweeps-worthy courtroom climax where truths about the shooting night finally emerge. In the end, Days of Our Lives excels because it treats its characters as family. We've watched Stephanie grow from a young woman finding her voice to this complex adult battling invisible wounds. Her potential shooting and arrest aren't just plot devices, they're opportunities to explore forgiveness, resilience, and the thin line between protection and destruction. Will she be imprisoned long-term? Probably not forever. Salem rarely keeps its heroes locked away indefinitely. But the journey there will be filled with tears, rage, tender moments, and the kind of over-the-top drama that keeps us tuning in day after day. Fans, what do you think? Will Stephanie pull the trigger in a moment of pure PTSD-fueled terror? Can Alex's love survive this storm? How will the Kyriakis clan react to another scandal? The beauty of this show is that anything can happen, and usually does. Stephanie's story is far from over. It's just entering its most explosive chapter yet. Stay tuned, Salemites. The bullets are flying, and the trials are just beginning.